Hey everyone, how's it going? Welcome back to another video here. So I wanted to talk about the Daryl Dixon show and sort of what information we could learn here at Comic-Con, and I also wanted to talk about a potential character's return and why I do believe that character is likely going to return. And yeah, so anyways, before going further, make sure to be a subscriber if you do want more Walking Dead content like this. Also, definitely go follow me on Twitch. I am planning to start streaming very soon. I'm actually going to have my schedule out because I can actually have a schedule now, which is something that is actually exciting because I haven't been able to, like before when I used to stream on Twitch, I was never able to have a schedule just because of things happening in my personal life. Now I actually can because I know what's going on over the next week. So I'll probably, like, if I'm doing a schedule update, it's going to be like week to week. So I'll reveal what my schedule is going to be for the next week and so forth. I'll kind of go from week to week like that. I'm really planning to play a lot of Walking Dead games. Phasmophobia is going to be a big one because I'm just obsessed with that game. I play that all the time. Devour's another one. And then in September, I want to play The Last of Us. And so I'm going to do all of that. And I'm actually working on something with that is it's going to be kind of exciting, but I'll announce it at some point soon. Actually, before I even announce it, I'm just going to kind of do it for a while to make sure I'm really wanting to do it, and then I'll announce it. And yeah, I'm excited for that. So definitely go follow me on Twitch. Also go follow me on Discord. I'm actually going to be playing some Minecraft very soon because obviously our Discord server has a Minecraft server, and so people have been building a lot of cool Walking Dead things in there. So I'm going to go in there soon and check it out, film something. I'm going to try to release a lot of videos on that because I think that could be a lot of fun. But yeah, anyways, let's move on here to what I actually want to talk about. And the big one is obviously, a lot of what Norman Reedus has been talking about, which is that he's likely going to meet a character that's been missing for quite a while. And so could it be Rick? Maybe it could be Rick. I just don't see that being a possibility, mostly because of the star power of Andrew Lincoln, right? And like, there's so much hype built up for Rick Grimes' return that I just think it would be a little underwhelming if it just happened in like, on a TV show, just a random episode. The Daryl show could be really massive, and I don't know why in my head I'm sort of picturing the spinoffs as being like really big, because I do think All the Dead and the Daryl show are definitely going to be bigger shows than like Fear the Walking Dead and even Tales, right? Because you have those big characters there. So if anything, I feel like it could be more exciting than The Walking Dead is currently, right? So that's exciting. If you're a Walking Dead fan, it's definitely really exciting. I just still think that Rick's first time coming back and at all, I just don't think it makes a lot of sense for it to happen there. And so I think there's two other characters where that does make a lot of sense, and that's going to be Michonne and Jadis, because Michonne is obviously out there looking for Rick. Daryl's out there likely looking for Rick as well. I could see a scenario where he actually runs into her, right? And they're both like, and maybe Michonne says, well, I found these clues, this leads to this leads to that, or whatever. And just sort of talk about things in general. Maybe Michonne wants to know, is Judith okay? Is RJ okay? And stuff like that. I could see that being a possibility. Jadis is also one that I feel like is a little bit stronger of a possibility, mostly because obviously it's Jadis, it's not Michonne. Michonne has a lot more of that star power, right? And I think to get her on that show would definitely be really, dependent on if Denai Guerrero wants to do that, because she's pretty busy right now. Although I think the thing that she's been working on is that play, and I think that play's wrapping up right away, unless they're going to be doing other stuff later on. But if it's wrapping up and she needs something else to do, I could totally see her showing up to film something like this, especially if the Daryl show is going to have 6 episodes. And that's the thing, if it has more than 6, I don't see it being more than 10. So I think it's going to be within that range, which, again, I think Denai Guerrero could do, right? Like, I think that's very possible. But still, I think Jadis is a strong possibility, and I think that could really open the doors to a lot of very interesting storylines. Because the thing about World Beyond and having Jadis show up is, like, obviously she mentioned some Rick stuff, and that was really exciting. She talked about some things. We learned the context of certain things that I think definitely will be addressed in the movie. But like, Jadis couldn't really mention Rick's name because it just felt out of place. And I know a lot of people, hated that when Jadis would just say, I helped out a friend, this and that, like she wouldn't just say Rick. To me, it makes a lot of sense in that context because like those characters on World Beyond didn't know who Rick was, so it just made no sense for Jadis to bring Rick up in that way. Now, if you want to have that conversation for The Walking Dead, yeah, then definitely that makes a lot of sense. Like, it pissed me off whenever they kept saying, like, well, what about the brave man and stuff? And I'm like, just say your dad. Like, just say Rick. If it's Judith talking about Rick, just say, you know, well, what about dad? Or if it's Michonne, just say Rick. Or if she's talking to Judith, just say your dad or whatever. Like, it's so simple. You don't have to get that creative with it, like calling him the brave man, whatever. Like, oh man. And I think that's what's really exciting about the situation there is I think that you could have her show up in the Daryl show, and that potentially could be an announcement that is happening here at Comic-Con, right? Like, in terms of any sort of Rick Grimes news, there's going to be an update. That's the thing. They are going to update something because someone's going to ask the question, and so Gimple has to say something. Like, there's going to be some sort of update. Now, it might be what we don't want, which is, oh, we're still working on the script, whatever. But they're going to address it. Like, that has to happen. But the one thing that we could get is a lot more information about the Daryl show. The casting announcement of Pollyanna McIntosh coming back to play Jadis. And that's going to cause a lot of hype because people are going to be like, whoa, Daryl and Jadis are going to be reuniting in the Daryl show. What the hell does this mean? If Jadis is over there in Europe, does that mean Rick's over there? You know, I could totally see that being a scenario where all of us are just discussing this for the next couple of months, right? So I think that's a strong possibility because Norman Reedus did say that. Like, he came out and said, you know, there's some missing characters. Maybe I'll run into one or two of them. Like, if he's saying that, he knows something. And if he knows something, it's because he was told that by, like, Gimple or whoever, right? And remember, like Norman Reedus said, in terms of the story of everything here, there's not going to be any, or he's not really involved at all, right? Like, he's just sort of an actor for hire. He's going there, he's showing up to do whatever. And so I look at that and I'm like, if he knows something about maybe running into a missing character or two, you know, like if he's saying that he knows people are going to be really excited, it's likely because somebody told him that, which was that somebody could have been Gimple, could have been someone else, but maybe they are set to make some sort of announcement for the Daryl show, because that is the one show that we don't really know a lot of information about, right? But they announced that before Isle of the Dead. They're actually going to be filming the Daryl show next, or in August or September or something like that. So I could totally see a big announcement coming then, especially, like I said, since Norman Reedus already talked about that. Maybe there is something that's going to be announced right away for casting and whatnot. And I think it makes a lot of sense that it would be Jadis. Like, personally, I think it makes a lot of sense that it would be Jadis. So I think that's going to bring a lot of exciting scenes. You know, I think we're going to see a lot of stuff with Daryl learning of Rick's fate. Obviously, in the show, he's probably going to learn that Rick survived. But, like, he's going to learn of, like, what specifically happened with him. You know, there's going to be, and that's the one thing that I will say, too. The scope of the Walking Dead movie or the Rick movie could have changed, because maybe the story isn't going to be set 6 years ago and just sort of recapping the events of the last 6 years to catch up to where we're at now, right? Like, it might have changed quite a bit to the point where in the Daryl show, Jadis will be on that show, and Jadis will tell Daryl about things that Rick's been through over the last however many years. Like, she might tell him, because it makes no sense for her to not tell him, right? Like, she would. I could totally see her just being like, yeah, we did this, we landed here, we did all this stuff, then he was sent here to do this, he went over here, and this is where I lost track of him at this point. Like, a lot of that stuff there could be a lot of information that we can learn just in the show, so that the movie doesn't have to explain all of that and spend like a half an hour to 45 minutes going through all of that, right? Like, we could see a little bit of it, but then just sort of get into the main plot of the movie. That is something I could definitely see. I can totally see that. And so, you know, I'm definitely very excited about this. And obviously the one big threat of all of that is going to be running zombies, right? Like, that's something that I think at Comic-Con they'll probably talk about. I think Gimple will probably address that and be like, you know, like, we did see something at the end of World Beyond that teased sort of the future of this. So if you're wondering when we're going to see that next, well, you know, the Daryl show or maybe even Isle of the Dead is, you know, something that I would keep an eye on, kind of thing. So yeah, I'm excited for Comic-Con. I think there's going to be a lot of announcements because there's been so many things. Like, in previous years, there wasn't this much. There's Isle of the Dead, the Daryl show, Tales of the Walking Dead. Fear the Walking Dead, I think, will be ignored this year. But then there's the Walking Dead final 8 episodes, and then there's the Rick movie, right? There's all of these different projects that they just sort of announced over the last however long. We haven't had an interview with them. We haven't been able to have the fans hang out with them and ask them questions and have this huge event. I think a lot of things are going to be addressed. I think we're going to learn a lot more information here. And I think if you're a Rick fan, I think you should be excited. Like, to be honest, I think there's going to be some stuff. So anyways, I'm going to leave it here. Make sure to post all your thoughts down below. Hope you guys all enjoyed the video, and I'll see you guys in the next one.